Good evening and welcome to yet another edition of the Bermuda Referees Corner here on islandstats.com. I'm joined by several female officials who keep the game running on our island, assisting whether it be in the middle, on the sideline for first and Premier Division matches, and also taking up the middle in youth matches. First of all, good evening, everyone. I hope you're all well. I know you've all been missing football since December 5th, I believe, was the last weekend of games. Emily, can you just give us a brief of what you have been doing since this period of no football or no sports in general?
Most of the time I'm just either working out by myself, doing extras, and yeah, training started back up, so I'm starting to get back into that, which is good.
What about you, Koa?
I'm probably in the same boat as Emily. And when lockdown first started, I was like really motivated to do like activities and workouts for some reason. And then as time progressed and like things started to get back to normal slowly, I kind of stopped doing those at-home workouts. But now I'm back track training, and like Emily said, football national squad has started training again. So I'm getting back to the fitness level that I was at before lockdown.
Yeah. What about you, Natasha? What have you been doing since December 5th to keep yourself, I guess, motivated and going?
Just staying in the gym. I know that refereeing the games are going to start back, so you got to stay on top of things. So really just staying in the gym, doing some cardio outside, some running, some biking, some hills. That's pretty much it.
And Satya?
Basically like the same thing as the other people, just going to the gym, just doing some extra workouts with trainers and stuff like that.
Okay. And Carrie?
I've just been going to the gym here and there, getting in a run when I can, and since training starting back up, then I'm getting in the flow of everything.
Now, you guys have been busy with the referees training over the course of the last few weeks that has stepped up. But Kerry, you've been probably the longest serving person out of everyone that's on here. Give us a sense of what has changed since you started that kind of keeps you involved.
I would say the exposure to more people like in the referee family, whether they're like international, FIFA, or in CONCACAF, and like speaking to them and learning their experiences, I would definitely say that's like kept me motivated, as everyone's story is different. So it's just good to see that they're letting us have that opportunity.
Satya, I've seen you Sunday mornings with the referees at times. What do you enjoy about being around the group of people and just getting into training?
It's actually really great training on Sundays. It's bad exposure, and you get to learn way more on these Sundays during technical and fitness sessions. They really point out what you need to work on and the different techniques that you need to use. So it is very helpful.
Yeah, and obviously Natasha, coming from a track background, working with the group on Sundays and even Tuesdays, I believe. How does that kind of keep you going to offset your workouts that you do on your own to make you feel as if whenever football is ready to start again, you're ready, tuned in, and ready to go?
The balance is good. So when I go to the gym, it's like all weights, and then refereeing helps with the cardio part, so it gets the heart pumping. It's good. It's good balance. Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursdays we have been doing the fitness.
Oh, nice. And Koa, for you mentioned you're back doing track and field. You do a lot of different things. How do you manage that time?
I don't know. I wouldn't really say that I have like. I ever since I was young, I guess I've become used to like not running all over the place. I have like it's no specific. Okay, 30 minutes for this, then 30 minutes. It just always seems to work out. But thankfully, like my track helps with my football, and then like because I've grown up like doing activity, I guess it helps with my fitness level when it comes to refereeing. So in the end, I feel like it all just works together so that I can just be active.
I mean, you're quite busy yourself as well, but how are you managing keeping it all in schedule and in all intact?
I've been doing good. I'm not as busy as I was before since like club football has stopped. I don't really have that type of training anymore. So right now I'm just like easing in back to my training sessions, which I do appreciate and enjoy. So it's not like my plate's full and I'm busy every single day.
Okay. Can you remember your first experience of officiating a senior league match?
I think I was refereeing at Village, and it was for a first division game. I'm pretty sure that was my first game, and I was really nervous to go on because like it was my first game doing like the men, I guess, quote unquote. But I was just nervous because I just didn't want to mess up, and then like because I've seen the officials and like the spectators, and they just go at the officials sometimes. But thankfully I did a good job, and of course I had most of the senior like referees backing me up if they did say anything, so I was just appreciative of that.
Yeah. What about you, Chloe? You remember your first senior league game?
I cannot say that I do remember the specifics, but I know, well, even after my first, or however many I end up doing, I was still nervous every time. So I'm sure I was extra nervous on my first one, like mostly because of what Emily said, because like my first impression when I was, when Mr. Williams had put me on the schedule was that like, I guess people who watch football, like the spectators, is only a select group of referees, so I guess they know faces, and then when I got there, I was like, oh, they're probably gonna think, who's this girl? She don't know what she's doing, this, that, and the other, and I was so scared. And I will always, I remember one of my first ones was at Village, like Emily, and I would be on the spectator side, because if you go on the other side, that means you have to go in the middle and all that. And so that was even more nerve wracking because they were like really like standing right behind me. But they didn't really say anything to me, and like Emily said, we always had this support of whoever was in the center, and then if some other referees would come and watch, so I didn't feel like I was out there by myself.
No, that's good. Natasha, you remember your first one?
You know, I'm sitting here thinking, and I literally cannot. I cannot remember my first game. I do remember one of the first few ones, though. It was in St. David's, and I was getting assessed. Maybe that was the first game. I'm not sure, but I was so confused. I'm like, I'm getting assessed. I never even ref before. What are you gonna be testing? Like, what are you gonna be looking at? So yeah, it was St. David's and somebody. First division game, probably.
Did that make you extra nervous?
No,
The assessment part.
no.
Okay.
But it was like, what? What do you mean? I was so confused. I'm like, I don't know what basis you're gonna go off of, but let's do it.
Satia, have you
It
done
was
a
good
senior
then.
game? And if you have, what do you remember anything about the first one?
The first one was a couple years back, so I don't really remember that. The only thing I remember from that was that the main referee was Martin, and he was one of my coaches too. So like that really helped me as he being my instructor and being the main referee at the same time.
Yeah. Carrie, I don't know if I could ask you, do you remember your first one? It's been so long, huh?
I actually do, but I think the only reason I remember is because so much happened during this game. People were getting red cards, people were fighting, and it was just so hectic. It was the Dudley Eve
PAC, right?
Cougars and Somerset. Yeah, that game was so crazy. But I just remember being so like nervous. Like I was only 15 and a grown man. I was like, what am I actually doing? But it was ended up being okay. They even had backup for me. Stefan was there. But I don't need him. Like why would I? Even if I was injured or tired, I wouldn't like tap out. But yeah, that was
Yeah.
a very odd game.
Yeah. Now, for all of you, the rules have been updated. We've seen. We're not going to go down the road of VAR because it won't be in Bermuda for some time because of the cost and the controversy. But the rules have changed over the years. How have you managed to stay on top of that using the training together, collaborating, and the instructors, I guess, tutelage and help? How has that kind of worked out for you? And I'll start with you, Emily.
Usually before games, they'll just inform us of like anything that we need to stay updated on, like new rules or anything, just like a refresher, which is like really beneficial for me in my case. So yeah, I think that's how I stay on top of the rules and always know like what's going on.
Yeah. What about you, Koa?
I'm pretty much the same as Emily. Also, so to say like we would like the halftime talk. The main official always allows us to ask questions. So like say they make a decision and either not that I don't agree, but like I have a question or I say, oh, why did you do that and not this? They're always open to explain. Like they don't dismiss or try and make it seem like I should know this. They are always open to explain. So I feel like that helps me to grasp about understanding and remember and like stay on top of all the changes and everything.
Mm. Tasha?
What's the question?
Staying on top of the new rules and how do you, with the instructors and all, how are you managing it?
Oh, it's good. Like when we have the Zoom calls, they will tell us if there's any updates. And yeah, like these guys have said before the games and in between, in the middle of games, they will let us know like what's going on.
Mm. Satia?
Also, the app, the laws of the game app, they usually let you know if there's an update.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's helpful.
Cool. Satia?
Basically, the main referees are mostly our instructors. So anytime I have a question, which I do have a lot sometimes, I ask in between like halftime or at the end of the game. So every time each game, they think it as a learning point of view. So I just think of every game as a lesson to learn new rules and stuff.
Nice. Carrie?
Well, when the law actually changes, they actually give us a few months before and tell us the differences. And basically during the Zoom, they kind of enforce it in you, like they tell you the old law and the new law, and then give video clips. Though at times it does seem a bit, confusing if it's like an old clip and they give you the answer for what the call should have been. But if you look at the new law, then it's a different call. But other than that, everything is good, like how they're teaching us the new law.
Mm. Kerry, if you were in charge of refereeing globally for one day, what rule would you change and why?
Um,
Now you got to think because you're also a football. All of you are footballers as well, so you got to be thinking, okay, my position is this, and I always get called for this. Then I don't think it's a foul. So what rule would that one rule be to change if you were in charge?
it's kind of hard to pick because
So many?
no, it's just that everyone who's in charge and who's changing the laws, I feel like they've actually done a good job. As in, like the law changes are just to make the game smoother, and I feel like they benefit everyone.
Yeah.
But maybe VAR because, as you can see, that's just it's crazy.
What about you, Satia?
I'm pretty okay with the rules, Every time they change, it don't even get worse. It just goes better with the game. So I'm pretty fine with it.
Okay, I'm gonna find one of you is gonna change a rule. Natasha?
I'm thinking, I don't know specifically, but something to do with offside. There's an offside rule that if the defender deliberately touches the ball and the attacker is in an offside position, and then they receive the ball because the defender deliberately touches the ball, and then they score from something around that.
Mm-hmm.
It seems a little bit off. Something around. Kayra, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, like if the defender goes to head it, but it like skims his head and the attacker gets
Yeah,
it.
but he,
But
yeah.
he like went to
I
play the
feel,
ball.
yeah,
But then you have to also understand
that he
where
made a
was the
mistake.
attacker when the ball was kicked? Was he onside or offside? Because the defender touching the ball doesn't make a difference. It's when the ball was kicked. So if he
Yeah,
was,
if the attacker is in an offside position when the ball is kicked and the defender deliberately goes to play the ball, but he misses or like goes off his head, it's like it's not offside. But
why wouldn't
the
he be? I
attacker
thought
was
he was offside from the time the ball was kicked, regardless if the defender touches it.
no.
No?
Because
Okay.
it's like if he deliberately plays it, then it's no offside. But if
Yeah.
it like just touches it, like reflects over him, then you're offside. It's like many different layers to
Deflection versus deliberate.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What about you, Koa? Because I see you smiling up there.
In my opinion, well, my rule change that it doesn't really help me because wow, I used to be a defender, but I think I wouldn't really change it completely. But I feel like when I watch football and like they have the VAR to assess an offside, and then they like zoom in to like the finest little like someone's arm hair could be offside, and then it just throws the whole attacking play. I understand the point of it because as a referee you can't see every single thing, but I just think it's a bit because like then, like I just feel like when you do all of that, it just disrupts the whole game of football. You know,
I second that. I was talking about that the other day with someone. I agree, Koa.
like they like I was watching the game the other day and they literally zoom in so small. I'm like, if you have to zoom that far in, I just feel like it shouldn't be offside. That's just me.
Mm-hmm.
Leave it up to human error. Yeah.
Yes.
How it's been all this time. Emily?
No, I'm definitely gonna agree with Koa. I think it just ruins the game sometimes. It just disrupts play and it just frustrates me sometimes when I'm watching.
Yeah. I know some of you have to go because you got training, but we're going to continue the conversation. When you look at the game at its fast pace internationally and professionally, Natasha, I know you have ambitions of getting to that international level as well as a few other of you. That pace, how do you think, or what do you think it's going to take to get to that pace and fitness level to be able to keep up with it for 90, 120 minutes?
I think that doing practicing always makes you better. So maybe go into games that are that fast paced, training games, practice games. It doesn't have to be like the biggest tournament ever, but just to be practicing around games that are at that speed, that'll be helpful.
Mm. And obviously you guys have teammates or referee partners that have been into international competition. What's some of the things that they've been able to tell you that you would have to work on to first get there and then obviously stay there, because it's a totally different, although the game doesn't change, it's totally different atmosphere, totally different surroundings, totally different group of people. It's not like you know the guy in the middle because you're meeting him or her when you get there. Anyone? Okay, cool. I'm picking on you.
Wow. I can't really say I've had that conversation because like for me personally right now I like be or go into the next level in refereeing isn't something that is like that I am pushing for right, like it's not my main focus. It will be like an amazing opportunity and experience maybe at some point in my life, but I can't really say that I've had that conversation with any of our officials that have been to that level. So yeah.
Okay. What about you, Kaylee?
Well, in talking to like Tashawn, he has said that it's easier to get on the list and harder to stay on it. And also seeing like from my perspective of him and everything he like does and tries, I can definitely see it. But all it does just motivate me to try and do better, since given a good example that he has.
Satia, you've done youth games, haven't you, in the middle?
Yes.
Yeah. What has been your experiences of refereeing in the middle of the youth games?
Mostly just parents on the side, but like the kids actually just go with the game. They just want to play, so I just really just let them play and call when it really needs to be called. To control the game is not that hard with them, but I have done a practice game for the men's in the middle, and it was more easier, to be honest. Like it went more steadily with it.
Yeah. What about you, Emily? I know you've done youth games.
I have. Same with Satya. Mostly just the parents. Every now and then you'll get like a player that will like clap back at you sometimes, but you just keep going with the game because overall they just want to play and you just want to let the game go on. So it's just, yeah, it's just them sometimes.
Yeah. Natasha, what would you rather, the youth or the senior men's in the middle? Because I think you've had the opportunity to do quite a bit of both.
Definitely would rather youth games in the middle because there's no this sounds terrible, but there's no opposing view,
Right.
the kids are not coming at you. Like they know what they're talking about. But in a men's game is definitely the opposite. No men's games in the middle. It's just stress that you don't need,
You were trying to figure a way to say it as politely as possible.
Exactly. The youth games are smooth. The youth games are smooth.
Cool. I know you've had opportunities to be in the middle of the youth games. What has been your experience?
I have not had a negative experience so far being in the middle. It's pretty much like what Emily and Satya had said, because they are so like the young and the energetic and they just want to play. It makes that much easier for me to just like allow it. And I would say when I first started, it was more difficult because I was new and because like since they were so small, I guess to parents or spectators or people on the side, like any little small nudge seemed like a fall, and then the parents would start shouting, they're like, oh my gosh, my child, da, 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 da. And then the only thing about that is it makes it like if I don't call it, they would shout, but at the same time if you call every small little thing, they're gonna get out under 15s, under 17s, and they're not gonna be like, it's a physical contact sport. So I feel like that's one of the hard things to like make the parents and spectators understand. But other than that, the mostly like everybody, all the players have been respectful of the calls and decisions I made. So
Kaylee, what has helped you the most coming from a player's aspect with refereeing?
Just kind of knowing how the game goes, what to expect. Even different playing styles, different coaches, change up the playing styles depending on the team they're gonna play. So it's easy to recognize different patterns, okay, midfield gets it, knock to the back, long ball. Like different teams have different styles, and I think that's one thing that's helped me with like anticipation, especially being on the line.
And so, Tia, the same question: what has helped you coming from a player aspect to referee?
To be honest, like everything. To be honest, like fouls. I know like a foul is like obvious to me, and then offsides come to me like one time because I am a defender and I have to hold the line, so the attacker can be offside, and then like any obvious things like handballs and the bend balls out. It's like being very visual. So like being visual in football is the same thing. So it's just being an element at the same time.
Okay. All right. Now I'm going to ask Emily and Koa the opposite. What has refereeing helped you in your football? Emily?
You mean like how has referee helped me in my football?
Yes.
Is that the question?
Yes.
Just knowing the rules, so like you know what's gonna happen. Kind of what like Kay said about anticipation. Like if I know I did something wrong or like my teammates did something wrong, I already like know it's already an instinct that okay, they're gonna call me. Let me set up and get back and get ready. Tell my team, turn around, turn and face. Like and just like offsides even. Just like if I could see them offside, I already know. I start turning around, get setting back up. It's just knowing the next move basically. What should happen.
Right. Koa?
I agree with Emily. Like, definitely, it gives you a new insight on the rules. And then, like with that, say, I feel like I'm not saying like you can manipulate it, but like if you know the rule, you can like kind of work around it so that you can like kind of get away with certain things that people who don't know the specificities of the rules can do. And also, when I started officiating, it made me like develop develop more respect for referees. Cause like I'm never been like I don't disrespect or like curse anybody off on the field or anything. Like I would get upset or mad like if something happened, say a player fouled me or they were offside and it didn't get called. Like I would get like it would frustrate me. But then going out and actually officiating it opened my eyes to like you cannot see every single thing that happens. So now as I play, I have to keep that in mind. So refereeing and like actually officiating games definitely helped me with that.
Natasha, what opened your eyes when you got involved in officiating, coming from first from a football and then track and so forth? What opened your eyes and made you say, "Wow, I didn't realize that," coming from a player or background into officiating?
I just couldn't even believe it, Refereeing is, I feel like all players of football should learn the laws of the game. It is so helpful. It's like you don't even know. I didn't know half of the laws when I came in. I'm like, what? I played the game for so long and I didn't know any of these any of these rules and laws. I feel like it's a necessary thing for players to know. It, like Koa said it, and Emily, it helps you play the game and yes, manipulate plays and get around the referee. It's just, yeah, opened my eyes a lot. So many things I didn't know. I didn't even pay attention to the like assistant referees in games, and now I'm just like, oh my god, I can't believe that you were there the whole time making decisions about the game. It's been very eye-opening. I like the perspective of the referee
Right.
for the game.
Yeah. Carrie, you said you'd done your first senior game when you was 15. What actually made you get involved in officiating?
I was kind of forced in a sense. It was just a weekend, and I had known Mr. Williams for a long time, like through CTY, and I had seen him. He was like, "Oh, you should start refereeing." And I was like, oh, I'll think about it. And he was like, well, it's not many people doing it, so I kind of need you. And then I just went from there, and it really didn't take long. Like, basically the next, like, year, I was doing first division and premier. So, yeah.
I know I'm going to hear the name Williams 4 more times, but Satya, who bent your arm to get involved? Can you hear us? You got to unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, good.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna have to say Mr. Williams again because I've known him a long time, and he came to one of my football sessions saying you play the game, so might as well ref it at the same time. So then afterwards, he forced me into the youth referee games, and I actually got comfortable in that. He made me get to the senior referee games when I did not ask for it, but he made sure that I am just keep on going in refereeing.
Mm-hmm. And Natasha?
Zaina Fogo actually is the one that got me started with refereeing. I saw her in the middle of the street, literally in the middle of the street. And she was like, hey, there's a referee course happening in about 2 weeks. I said, okay. She said, do you want to do it? I said, yeah, sign me up. And that's literally it. Like, it was nothing else to it. She didn't really have to say much. And I don't
Right.
actually know why I agreed, but that's how it
Something
happened.
different,
And
something new.
yeah, I had thought about refereeing randomly like a year before that encounter with Zana, but
Right.
I didn't know how I would get into it or what was going to come out of it. I didn't think about it much further than that. And then Zana was like, do this referee course that's coming up. And I'm like, okay. And now it's been a year, actually, probably to date. It's probably been a year.
Wow. Okay. What about you, Koa?
Definitely Mr. Williams. Yeah, I don't really remember, but I'm sure I was at the same session as Satya, and he came and told us that we should try it out. And when I first started, he told us we were getting paid, so that's why I did it. And then I didn't really think. I was just like, okay, well, if I do this and then I get paid that, but then once I started doing it and like seeing how what just me being there and officiating allows so many other people to enjoy the game that I enjoyed, I definitely continued doing it. Like, money aside, it was more like me being able to help others do the things that I like to do. So yeah.
Okay. And Emily?
I was definitely at the session that Satya and Co were at, where Mr. Williams asked us to be all referees, most likely. But before I even got into refereeing, sometimes I would stay late at games, and sometimes they didn't have linesmen, and I somewhat knew the rules, so I would just join in and help. And then Mr. Williams saw me there and just encouraged me to just start doing it and just join.
It's funny how he doesn't always ask. He kind of like tells you this is what you're gonna do, and
Yep, definitely,
and
definitely did that.
he has that way of this is what you're gonna do, okay? Where you have to say yes. But who would you say has been a big influence in your refereeing thus far? And I'll start with you, Katie.
First name to do it would be Martin, but then it just ranges so much because like the different aspects, whether it's fitness or technical, and just different information everyone's gave me. And I'd also say Francis, because Francis is actually my trainer at the gym. So it's like everyone kind of has, influenced me in a way.
What about you, Satya?
My first influence would probably have to be Mr. Williams. He pushed me, sent me messages every training session. You need to be here, or Zoom call, you need to be on here. But my second one would probably be Martin too, because he made me feel comfortable in every game and every training session and make sure I do things right.
Mm. And Natasha?
Biggest influence at the moment, probably Cranston. He he just encourages me to keep going and allows me to see the bigger picture of why I'm doing it. He's doing a good job.
Cool.
I would say Mr. Williams for the same reason as Natasha, because like he is always like I guess he see like I don't, when I think of refereeing and officiating, I don't really say, oh my gosh, cool, you can get to this place and that place. And he like, I don't know if he's genuinely means it or if he's like, if he just wants me to do it because he don't have enough people, but like he's always encouraging and pushing me and saying, oh well, you have potential, this and that. So that's definitely helpful since I started. I would just say like all of the older or more experienced referees, like no matter what it is, they're always making sure I'm comfortable, making sure I know what I'm doing, and they're always open to answer questions or like just be there in case there's anything that I would need.
Emily?
Definitely for the Mr. Williams, for the same reasons Koa said. He's always just really encouraged me, even though I don't think I could do it. He just keeps on encouraging. And then I would definitely say Martin, like Satya, because he was my first assessor and he just encouraged me. And no matter like how much mistakes I would make, he always just encourages me to keep going and just gives me little pointers on the side. And when I do games with him, he just always makes me feel comfortable and makes sure like I'm okay before and puts me before anyone else, which I really appreciate him for.
Well, good stuff. I want to encourage you all to stay with it. I know some of you will eventually go off to university, colleges, and all the like. But when you're home, you're always, I guess, welcome back to help the sport, because you guys have helped to keep the sport going in many, many ways just by coming out and officiating. Without you guys, some of these matches wouldn't have been able to take place. And hopefully, we get back to football very, very soon, and we get to see your smiling faces on the sideline or in the middle, to make the game flow as simple as possible. Okay? I want to thank you all, folks. Do enjoy the rest of your night. We'll be back next week with another edition of Referee's Corner here on IslandStats.com. Good night.